ads are only one part of the funnel, and even SEO, that's only one part of the funnel. There's, the ads and the SEO that bring in relevant people onto the website, and you need those to kind of bring in those relevant people. There's the website that helps convert people into actual leads and drives actual people getting in contact. And then there's the closing rate and the closing and you speaking to people, doing the quotes and that sort of thing, right? So for myself, I like to look at myself as a holistic partner, from making sure that the ads and the SEO are good and that you're running ads effectively, then also making sure that your website's good and that it's optimized and that its elements are in the right places, it's converting into leads. And then even on the sales process, helping with like CRM, making sure that, you have a good automated sales process in place, right? So I like to look at all those aspects, versus just saying, I'm going to run your ads, and if the ads don't work, they don't work. You know what I mean? I think that's the kind of differentiator, is that if you have the ads working well, but the website's not working well, none of it's going to work.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the officially named Onsite podcast. This is episode number 7. And today we have Brendon. Brendon is one of the educators inside the Elite Builder Society, and he specializes in ads. Brendon is a previous employee at Google. He is a master of meta ads, and I cannot wait to dive into this conversation with Brendon. Brendon, thanks for tuning in today. Tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, where you're from, and a little bit about your company.
Yeah, for sure, Brandon. First of all, I wanted to say thank you for having me, first and foremost. This is actually the first podcast I've done. You know what I mean? So
there nice you go. Yeah, we broke the cherry.
Yeah. So essentially, myself, born and raised here in Toronto, have clients across Canada. Started off actually in biotechnology, so completely separate from digital marketing. You know what I mean? So I went to school in Ontario, graduated from biotechnology, and after school, of course, there's no jobs in biology, right? Just my luck. I actually got a job at Google Ads right out of school, and essentially from there kind of got my first taste of digital marketing. You know what I mean? So helping small businesses with their Google Ads, really learning the tips and tricks from Google Ads developers, how to actually do ads properly. And then from there, I kind of was working there for 3 years, kind of realized that, from working with small businesses, I started working with larger agencies and some of the biggest businesses in Canada. Even if you go to search Google Ads management online, a lot of those companies I've worked with in the past. And I realized that kind of a lot of them are outsourcing to previous places, you know what I mean? Whether that's India, you name it, a lot of outsourcing and white labeling going on within the Canadian market on digital marketing, right? So kind of that's where I got started on my actual business. I started it about 4 years ago, and man, I've been growing ever since. I have a team of 5 now, work with companies across Canada and the US, but my specialty really lies in contractors, small businesses, anything from roofers, plumbers, renovators, electricians, you name it. I work across all those industries. And it's funny, I took the Google Ads into actually running my own business, but in practice, it's a lot different, running ads and kind of building and that sort of thing, right? So started off in biotech, moved into digital marketing, and kind of haven't looked back since.
I mean, the coolest part for me through this whole conversation is the fact that you worked at Google, because anybody who's marketing is paying Google, right? We're paying Google, or we're paying Meta, and you can't get a hold of anyone there. I mean, I have a Google rep periodically, and I have a new one every 30 days. And then that person is just basically there to make sure I'm okay and happy. But I feel like I'm never really getting into the business owner. I'm not talking to somebody that can really help me move my business forward. When a contractor is dealing with a problem, let's say it's a tile and contractor, and they're building out a shower, that contractor can actually talk to the tile owner and produce a result. And so that's the unique thing about where you are, where it's you worked at the place that nobody can get a hold of, right? There's no 1-800, call Google, help me figure out my stuff. I mean, there is Google support. There's lots of support out there. I'm not saying that there's no support, but I'm saying it's very hard to talk to somebody there that has been inside this machine that produces so much revenue for so many people. Google has found this incredible way, and I think it's changing. I think that ChatGPT is taking some of that away from them potentially, or whatever that looks like. But Google's found a way to capture the attention of pretty much anyone that's on this phone. These phones are I watched this stat the other day. I don't know if you're familiar with this, but 20 years ago, maybe it was 30 years ago, they looked at what people focused their attention on, and it was friends and family. That's where 70% of their attention was focused on. Friends and family. And then when the cell phone came in, that started to change. So there's this little chart of how it changes over time. And now it's 70% of people's attention is focused on their phone, which is freaking crazy. And the cool part is you were in the space where they're funneling all of this captured attention. And so I love that. I want to expand a little bit more on what that experience was like in Google. Like, tell us, like, maybe it's not as glamorous as we think. And maybe, maybe you don't want to share that, because then maybe you're going to crush my dreams. But, maybe paint this picture like it's this giant warehouse with millions of people running around, all just hammering on computer boards. That's not what it's like.
No, not at all. I mean, half and half. Not a big warehouse, I guess. Right?
Okay, all right. Just stacking people on top of people.
Yeah, just 100 desks all in a row. Just everyone on phones, just answering Google support calls.
Yeah. So it's not like that. Okay, cool. So it's a little bit more organized than that.
Yeah, Brandon. So I would say, in my experience there, right, when I first got there, a lot of like just training on the ads, learning from like Google developers how to actually do things. But with that being said, the reason that a lot of people see issues with Google and see kind of a conflict of, I'm not getting the support I need, is that, with Google, there's on our end, like coming in as like an account manager, you're essentially a sales rep. So that's something a lot of people don't know about, is that, when you're actually speaking to clients and you're actually working and helping clients with their ads, there's a piece to it where, you want them to scale up their budgets. You want to pitch certain products, and that's how the Google reps make their money. You know what I mean? So it's a little bit of it's a little bit of a conflict there where, your goal as a Google rep is not to maximize the leads for a client. It's to actually get them to make these changes, use specific Google products, that sort of thing. Right. So that's why Google.
Well, they're a business though, right? Like it is Google. Yeah. I mean, exactly. At the end of the day, every business, their intention is to make money, right? Google is no different. At the end of the day, their intention is definitely to make money. And I love that you've kind of painted that picture just a little bit, and we'll dive into that more, that they're incentivized to sell, to make Google more money. I love that. So let's dive into that a little bit more.
Yeah, for sure, Brandon. So essentially, like, again, you're a sales rep there, right? So my job was, although like I learned how to do the ads from the Google developers and I really learned the best practices, in practice, it's a big gray box that they try to put on the Google Ads account and your Google Ads. And they do a really good job of it, of having that gray box there. And the goal of the Google sales rep is not to take off that gray box for you. It's to actually just scale up your budgets, get you to try certain features, that sort of thing, right? Mm-hmm. So with that being said, is that, my role there, although is to help small businesses, it's kind of counterintuitive when you have targets to hit and that sort of thing, right?
Right.
We've seen a lot of horror stories in the past, and even kind of now that I've moved on from Google Ads and I'm doing my own thing, I don't even, as a policy, I don't even talk to Google reps anymore because of that fact. You know what I mean? So that's where it comes into it. It's a very tough. It's very tough because, again, we have all these Google reps, you have all the support, but in reality, it's hard to find someone that on the Google side to actually that's here for you to win. You know what I mean?
Right, because their job is to make the company money, which doesn't always make the customer money at the end of the day. And so that's probably why there are so many agencies out there. Everybody is getting messages from everyone, specifically in Toronto. It's an absolute war zone there. There are, thousands of contractors and thousands of business owners all struggling because of our shitty economy, and maybe not shitty economy, just shitstorm that exists here, unfortunately. But because of that means that more people are spending money on ads, so it's diluting it even more. And I know a lot of the contractors that I work with are getting inundated constantly with people saying, hey, we can help you with this. Hey, we can help you with this. Hey, we can help you with this. And it becomes overwhelming. And then there's so many things that are coming at you. Do you do SEO? Do you do, like, what do? Do you boost an ad? People just don't know what to do. And the first thing that they need to really understand is how to close a deal organically, first and foremost. If you don't know how to close deals organically, never spend money on ads. That's just my opinion, and probably a few other people. But what's really crazy that's happening right now that I've noticed is there's so many people flooding people constantly. And when we met, I knew that this was existing. Like, I knew that there were so many people out there offering every service under the sun, right? There's just all these freaking services, and you need a little bit of some of them, but you need them in a specific order at a specific time based on as your business is growing. And so when we met, it was like, finally, I found somebody that just knew the intricacies of ads and the importance of the ad spend and how to organize that just more efficiently. We have been running ads with the Elite Builder Society for a long time. And the moment that we started connecting together and chatting about all of this stuff, I realized my ads still weren't as good as I thought they could be. I thought they were the best. I was like, there's no way this guy's going to come in and tell me that my ads could be so much better, because I thought I knew this shit hands down. We connected. You went through not a lot of changes, but enough changes to matter. And you don't know these results yet because you don't know about this yet. But our summit in Calgary just launched pretty much today, kind of like a soft launch. And so you might be hearing this recording a little bit later than that, but just fine. We're 7 episodes into this podcast. We haven't posted episode 1 yet. We're going to start posting soon. Point is, just to let you know, are you ready for this? So we have received almost 70 messages in less than 24 hours with our ads that you've kind of helped us create. And cost per message is like $4.
Nice.
And they're all on Avatar. I don't know what else you can do. That just sounds like a perfect win to me. So, I mean, tell us a little bit about your company and why you are different than all of these other people that are flooding people with hey, pick us to help you with building your business, whether it's SEO. I know that that's not the focus with you. I know that it's, ads, and that's where we're kind of leaning into, but why are you different? What makes you different? I mean, I know what makes you different, but tell everyone what makes you different.
Yeah, for sure, Brandon. So I would say, first thing is just the experience. You know what I mean? Is that, again, with the working at Google Ads, that gave me kind of a background in the rest of building campaigns, learning how it works. But then over the last 3-4 years, I've been working a lot with just contractors, renovators, small businesses, whatever it is, you name it, just building that experience and testing different campaign types, knowing what works, what doesn't, knowing how to structure things. Essentially, on my end, I just base off every single conversation I have with potential clients. I just speak through my experience. You know what I mean? I don't promise anything. You know what I mean? I feel like a lot of people do promise things. I like to just make sure that for my clients that we're spending budget in the right places and that we're spending budget efficiently and that, we have an optimized funnel in place, So one thing I like to tell people is that ads are only one part of the funnel, and even SEO, that's only one part of the funnel. There's, the ads and the SEO that bring in relevant people onto the website, and you need those to kind of bring in those relevant people. There's the website that helps convert people into actual leads and drives actual people getting in contact. And then there's the closing rate and the closing and you speaking to people, doing the quotes and that sort of thing, right? So for myself, I like to look at myself as a holistic partner, from making sure that the ads and the SEO are good and that you're running ads effectively, then also making sure that your website's good and that it's optimized and that its elements are in the right places, it's converting into leads. And then even on the sales process, helping with CRM, making sure that, you have a good automated sales process in place, right? So I like to look at all those aspects, versus just saying, I'm going to run your ads, and if the ads don't work, they don't work. You know what I mean? I think that's the kind of differentiator, is that if you have the ads working well, but the website's not working well, none of it's going to work. So making sure that the entire process is working, right? And it's funny that, Google Ads, they taught me specific things on how to run campaigns and how to, what settings to use and that sort of thing. And they push automation as much as possible. But in practice, it's actually the opposite. You want to use less automation. You want to be very granular with what you're targeting. And definitely there's benefits of the Google Ads structure and what they recommend. But on my end, just making sure that we're not wasting any budget, being very granular, being very specific, it kind of counteracts exactly what they actually pitch and they try to push, you know what I mean? So definitely,
because they're just focused on making them money.
Exactly. But if you're
spend more money on ads.
Exactly. But if you're a contractor, say for example, I'm a contractor in Toronto, right? And I'm talking to my Google rep, I'm just going to listen to them, right? I have no idea how the ads work, right? So I think it's just
because they're the authority. So you just assume that because they're the authority, I got this Google stamp. It's you don't even think they're a real person, right? But they're the authority. And so you take whatever the hell they have to give to you because you think, and I've been there too. I've been talking to my Google rep it's they're my lifesaver. It's hey man, we got to do this, and this. Oh yeah, no problem. They don't give a shit. Actually, all they want is my money. Maybe they do care. I mean, you obviously care because you left Google to go start a business, which sounds crazy because any entrepreneur that's listening to this understands what being an entrepreneur is. It gives you two things. It gives you the evil that you have to hustle, grind, and fight and battle through everything. But then also gives you the fulfillment of these, incredible stories, and a lot of which, just like the one that I shared with you about our ads that we're running, come kind of from the result of the information that you're sharing with people. So I think that's super awesome, man, that you're doing this for everyone. I would love to hear a little bit about you. What do you do in your personal life? You got a family, you got kids, you got a wife, you got a girlfriend. What do you do? You like to
Brandon.
travel? I see on your Instagram a little bit. So tell us a little bit about your personal life.
Yeah, for sure, man. So,
Brendon.
That's a great question. I'm still figuring that out every day. So,
we all are, brother.
But for me, like, man, on my free time, like, other than like, I try to get off the computer as much as I can. You know what I mean? So every single day I'm working with clients, kind of doing Zoom meetings, that sort of thing. But outside of work, I play a lot of beach volleyball in the city. You know what I mean? So beach volleyball is a huge thing I do. We go by, if you're in Toronto and Woodbine Beach, I go play there every week.
Cool.
I do a lot of outdoor stuff like camping. You know what I mean? So we're going camping like this weekend, actually. Yeah, camping, volleyball. I play a lot of basketball too. Travel as well. The one thing I like about having a virtual kind of business is that I can travel. You know what I mean? So you saw my Instagram. I went to Italy last summer. I kind of got to work there the whole time, do my Zoom meetings, and then kind of go see, tour around. You know what I mean? But yeah, pretty simple other than that, man. Volleyball, work, outdoor stuff, and then video games. Not a video
travel,
games.
Work, volleyball, basketball. No kids, obviously. If you can do all this stuff,
no kids yet. Luckily,
no kids. Yeah, my kids consume all of my extracurricular energy, just emotionally, physically, financially, and spiritually, everything. Literally, but I love it. I wouldn't change it for the world. So, okay, cool. So, you pretty much live this super cool life that probably a lot of people would just love to have, which I love. I love that for you, and I can attest to the operating virtually. Although I support and coach contractors, I fortunately get to operate from anywhere in the world. And so it's a super cool, it's a super unique feeling to be able to just need a laptop. All you need is a laptop and a camera, and you can do your thing. So tell us, so you're working with several contractors in the community. The show is called Onsite. And the reason it's called Onsite is to obviously get people on site, right? To get contractors on site. And so that's how the name was formulated. So you can kind of, put that together for yourself. But you're working with a couple people. I know you just brought on another contractor. Where were they at? I know you just started working together, so there's no data to really share about where they're going to be, but where are they at? Well, we don't need to use names specifically. It's fine. But where are they at, and kind of what's the goal with helping them with their campaigns and kind of helping them progress? I know a couple of them are in Ontario. I think we're looking at working with a couple of people in the States as well. So tell us a little bit about how we're focusing on helping a lot of contractors within our community get on more job sites.
Yeah, great question, Brandon. And I didn't even know you had kids as well, so that's great, man.
I used to actually. It changed my profile up a little bit, and they're kind of pissed about this. So if you scroll down to my Instagram, you'll see that I have like a normal life like everyone else. It's not all coaching and Contractor Connect and all these things going on. I had, we enjoyed time at the lake. We did a bunch of stuff. Both my kids play hockey. I've got a 17-year-old son that's interesting. He's a great kid. But it's just interesting having a teenager, 13-year-old daughter. So, I mean, yeah, if you scroll down, I had a normal life like everybody else. Nice. But now my kids are pissed because they're like, dude, like, you don't ever like talk about us like normal, like you did before. Like, I'm like, I know it's just different. I'm trying to create some separation between my personal and business, and I'm working on it. But sorry to interrupt you, but yeah. So I have 2 kids now that you know, and you're working a lot of people within our community. All of them have kids, and you're helping them get on site. So I love that. So let's talk a little bit more about that.
Hell yeah, Brandon. Hell yeah. So I would say, firstly, again, still early on for a lot of our guys at EBS, you know what I mean, in regards to like looking at what they were doing previously, looking at kind of what they're doing right now, still just launching on a lot of them, right? But what I would say is that the biggest thing I like to go through with just all my contractors is what stage you're in. You know what I mean? Like, are you currently just starting up? Did you just build your website? Are you looking to just launch and start getting leads? Already deep? Running Google Ads for a couple of years, kind of looking to scale that up and be more efficient there. So it all starts at kind of what stage you're at, you know what I mean? But I guess for this purposes, kind of let's go through just the outlook from, say, someone who's just starting up. First thing I look at with all my contractors is, how's your website look? Is it efficient? Can we drive leads to it? Is it going to be a good tool for us to actually drive business long-term for you? So that's the biggest thing I'll look at, number one. And then from there, whether we create a new website, whether we optimize the existing one, sometimes it's as simple as like adding a form near the top of the page or moving elements around that makes a huge difference. You know what I mean? So that's number one, reviewing the website. And then how else do we get the contractors on site from there, right? The next would be
when they, sorry to interrupt you there, just to kind of add context to that, when somebody clicks on an ad that's running on Google, just so everybody is aware, it's going to go to your website, right?
Exactly.
Typically, there are other things that exist too, which we can dive into as well, like the calling feature with Google, that new calling feature. But they're going to go to your website, right? And if you have a dysfunctional website, we've got blue collar marketing inside the community. They can help with websites. Brendon's team also does some website creative. But if they have to land and it needs to continue the journey, right? Essentially. So I love that, because a lot of other people don't look at that. They just push and post an ad and get it live. And that's not effective. So continue on with that. And I want you to touch on that new Google option. Tom, I think, is using it where it's that call feature that Google has, like where you can, basically type in electrician in this area. And then it gives you a higher ranked option that you can click on, and then it actually will call. It'll actually call and say incoming call from Google. And so Tom gets like shitloads of leads through this process. Costs a lot of money, but the leads are on Avatar. So I want you to kind of touch on both those two as well.
Yeah, I got you, Brandon. So those are called local service ads. So remind me if I don't call back up on that one for you, okay?
Okay.
So essentially, like first thing, the website is that we need to make sure that's optimized as much as possible. Like it's worth it to take time to build your website and make it look good and as presentable as possible. Is that if you're running ads, right? Say for example, you're paying for 100 people to click on your website every month. The difference between a good website and a bad website can be one lead reaching out from all those 100 people, or it could be 10 people reaching out from those 100 people, right? So that's the key thing, is that website and making sure that's optimized, that's going to drive efficiency everywhere else for you through the entire process. Right. You know what I mean? So that's the number one, making sure the website's good, then kind of moving into the ad side of things, right? The goal is in the first 3-4 months for the ads to be profitable for you. Firstly, I like to start on the Google ad side because it's the low hanging fruit, So say, for example, Brandon, you're a renovator in Toronto, for example, right? You do a lot of home additions. You want to focus on, say, new custom homes, for example, right? We would set up campaigns specifically targeting those specific services and keywords. And same difference if you want kitchen renovation, same thing if you want bathrooms. We can be very specific in the keywords you want. And then from there, once we actually get the ad set up and running, we're trying to capture that low-hanging fruit, right? Everyone in Toronto who is searching for home additions, we're appearing near the top of the page for. And that's where we're spending all the budget. That coupled with once they click onto it, they're visiting an optimized website. That's the key to success for us, right? So I would say in the first 2 to 3 months, starting up on Google Ads, starting to see clicks for the most relevant services you want, making sure that the website's actually driving them into leads. Those are the two biggest things to starting up just as a contractor, having an online presence. Also having a Google My Business profile and that sort of thing too, which we can touch upon later. But essentially, that would be the biggest start. And then from there, once you start seeing leads coming in and jobs closing, everything else opens up from there. So a typical workflow would be, say, you're looking to start up your business, start generating leads. We'd get your website set up, making sure that's optimized, run Google ads for like 2, 3, 4 months, start seeing success there, start scaling up those budgets, start seeing jobs close. And then once we start seeing jobs closing, we can move into everything else, meta ads, Facebook, Instagram, SEO. And the goal is to make sure that really to get that first Google Ads campaigns as a long-term lead generation tool for you. So seeing consistent leads coming in every month, scaling it up so you can see more leads if you need to. And it's almost like a water faucet, right? So you can turn it on, you see leads, you want to see leads, you turn that thing on all the way, right? And then if you have jobs booked and you kind of need to scale back, or you don't need to see all those leads, you can scale it down a little bit, right? So
is there a limit? Is there a limit on like, let's say that you spend $1,000 a month, right? Get 5 leads. I don't know if these are correct numbers. And let's say that you have enough capital. You're like, fuck it, I'm going to put 50 grand a month on, because theoretically it would just multiply itself. And is that accurate to say? Like, is there a threshold limit? Obviously, if you're like in a small town and there's like 50 people there, the threshold is 50 people, you know? So you don't need that data. But if you're in a big city, like, Toronto or California or any place like that, where there's a lot of people, is there a threshold to how much you can spend and what the lead generation potential is?
Great question, Brandon. So I would say in smaller towns, definitely there's this threshold, right? Like you said, there's a limited amount of people actually searching to get their renovations done, right? But in bigger towns, say Toronto, Vancouver, New York, California, even some of the major cities in the US, there's going to be no threshold for you. Like you can spend 10K, 20K and still see people actually clicking on your ads. So there's no threshold, but it's also making sure that we're scaling up responsibly, right? Is that, say, for example, if we're seeing leads, if you're spending, say, $1,000 a month, it might not make business sense for you to spend 20K a month, even if you're going to see all those specific leads, right? So making sure that we're scaling up the ad spend to scale the number of leads, but then also the management of those leads you can take care of, converting them into business, closing those jobs. If a contractor tells me I'm a one-man show, but I want to spend 20,000 in ads, I'd probably say a little bit, right?
Yeah, you need to build the back end a little bit more to manage that flow of work. And I think a lot of contractors struggle with just like their expectation for ads without doing anything on their end is alarming. Like most people are like, I just want to spend money on ads. Well, your business sucks. So why would you spend money on ads? Like if your business sucks, you're just going to spend more money to show people how shitty you are, right? Ultimately, that's all you're doing. You're just marketing how shitty you are. And so I love that you kind of go into the back end of that a little bit. What are some horror stories? Do you have any like horror stories on, some of the accounts? Because you've taken over people's accounts, right? Obviously, taken over some inside the community. And for sure, people have fucking burned money with shitty ads managers that haven't gotten them any results, and they think they're, in a great place. Are you working with? We'll talk about that later. I don't want to bring him up on this because I know he's had a bit of an experience. I think you are going to be working with him, but tell us some horror stories about somebody else, not people in the community.
I have a shit ton, Brandon. And I again, like it's a tough one because I see it, you know what I mean? And through my experience, I've kind of been able to help people out, but there's a lot of gray area in the digital marketing space, in the Google Ads space, in the advertising space, you know what I mean? And the Google Ads reps, like we talked about earlier, don't help it at all. No. So I'll give you kind of the big example I saw where like my heart, like I want to throw up seeing this ads account. But so firstly, like I do free audits too, on my end too. So basically for any client that's running Google Ads on their own, they're running ads account with another agency, I can do an audit, see what's up, see what's wrong. 90 to 95% of the time, there's major issues with the account that I can improve and make sure it's optimized. You know what I mean? So 90 to 95% of the time, it's either the person themselves, which is no fault of their own. It's not an easy thing to do, or it's an agency that's setting it up wrong, right? Well, that being said, I have a current client right now. These guys are spending like crazy amounts of budget. Like I think, was it 500K a month, something like that. So a couple million a year.
500K?
Yes.
500K a month on ads?
Yes, but it's another type of market. It's not a contractor, but yeah. So, but it gets worse. So, spending 500K a month, before they're spending 700K a month. So things like $7 million, $8 million a year in ads.
Crazy.
And
this isn't the government, is it? Is the government just burning money?
No.
This is a business. Okay.
I'd be even more mad if it was the government, man. That's my tax dollars.
Hey, they do a lot of shit with the tax dollars. We don't even want to get started with that. So 500K, they were spending 7. Tell us more.
And so on that note, Brandon, is that like when I went into the account to do the audit, like it was a lot of just basically saying, Google, you take this money, using the most broadest targeting, using the most broadest keywords, using the one campaign for a whole budget. You know what I mean? So basically, like they were just taking this big sum of 600K, giving it to Google, saying, you guys spend it how you want, and you figure it out for us, essentially. No.
The person who just likes to spend your money is forced to figure out how to spend your money.
Exactly.
So they just took your money. Oh, my goodness.
It's crazy too. So again, they have the most automated targeting setup, basically just having one campaign. I think that one campaign had like a 20K a month budget or something like that. But essentially, like when I spoke to them and like kind of going through, they were working with the Google rep as well. And it was an entry level. Yeah. And it was an entry level Google rep that they were working, not even like someone experienced who has like a lot of practical experience on Google Ads. It was an entry level person that they were working with on their 500K a month account. And what they were asked, what the Google rep told them every single month was, we need to raise your budget. We don't have enough budget to work with.
What's the threshold? Holy shit. If somebody told me I'm spending 500K a month, we should increase your budget. What do you think is reasonable? I don't know, 1.2 million?
They wanted to increase it to double it, increase it to $1 million a month.
No way.
Yes, yes. And when I heard that, man, I was like, this is crazy.
That is crazy. So, okay, obviously they're getting some results. Were they getting a little bit? Like you can't spend that much money on Google and get nothing.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Like they were getting like that's like a main driver of their business, as you can probably tell, right? Or
Yeah,
if
for
like what's
sure.
coming in, like business closing, right? So they were seeing results. But with that being said, it's really just at Google's disposal to say where they're spending that budget and that sort of thing, right? So basically, you're spending that 500K a month in one account. I mean, one campaign, all automated. Google spends it where they want, and then the rep saying, "Oh yeah, you're running it automated. That's perfect. You need to scale up your budget, whatever it is." When I came aboard, I was livid a little bit. I was like, what is going on here? Like, this is so much budget to work with, right? And I kind of showed them in reverse the structure. How do we set things up, right? So making sure that we have separate campaigns set up for different keyword groups. We have different buckets of keywords set up and different ads set up, different landing pages. Basically, A/B testing between all those different areas and scaling up so it works and being very granular in where we're spending the budget. And now we've kind of scaled up. I've been working with them for a couple months now. We've been scaling up, and it's been a lot better with the new campaigns in regards to spending budget effectively
For less money.
Exactly. So it's crazy that
now. What are they spending now?
It's around 500K around there still. So
and how long have you guys been working together?
3 months now. So
3 months. So they're seeing results already.
Yeah. So you can even see the difference between like my campaigns and the old ones. It's like the cost per click is like half. Like a lot of even like the like they're spending, I think it was like for each purchase they were spending like 300, like a couple $100. The cost per lead's $100 less now. So you can see the difference in how the campaign setup affects the actual performance. You know what I mean?
Wow, dude, I've never even heard of anybody spending 500K on ads.
Yeah.
If I'm being completely honest, I've never heard of that. I was expecting you to be like, yeah, so my one contractor, he's spending 5K a month on ads, and he just dropped this 500K on ads, which is crazy. So I'm trying to envision what this, because I'm a sales guy, like inside and out. And so if I knew that somebody was spending 500K on ads and it was shit, and I did my free little audit, and my consulting fee was typically whatever. I don't know what your consulting fee on that. You don't need to tell us. But I would, my confidence, just knowing what you know versus what you saw and what you can do for them, I would literally probably walk into the guy's office and said, I'm not going to charge you anything. I'm going to do XYZ for you. And if the result is 30% better, you're going to pay me 200 grand. I don't know what it is. And if it isn't, you're not going to pay me anything. And I mean, I don't know what your approach was. You don't need to tell us. But in my mind, I'm just thinking like the long-term results are going to be significant with that much budget. That's a fucking incredible story. That's crazy.
100%, Brad. And that's the way I look at it too, is like, for me, like this is, I think could be one of my biggest success stories ever as an agency. Right. And just turning things around for them as a business and to that scale is huge. Right. And yeah, I feel like even with myself, like I want to just see good success for them, and then everything speaks for itself, and whatever I charge, whatever it is, be 10 times worth it, right? Is that you can see the difference is that with what a build out makes, and what my knowledge in regards to how to set things up, how to optimize, how to use best practices in the ads and the keywords and all that, how much of a difference it can make in regards to like how, like with what you're spending, how much you can get out of it. You know what I mean? So going back to that Google rep, this guy said, you're spending 500K a month, let's spend $1 million now. Wait, we don't need to spend $1 million. Maybe we can just use this 500K at a more optimal rate, right? And make sure that we have everything structured the right way, right? So that's a big horror story.
So crazy.
But you could think about it too, is that, these guys spending 500K. Imagine the contractor spending 3K or 4K, whatever it is, what Google reps they have and what their advice they're getting. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, wow. That is wild. What a crazy story. So I do want to go from this epic 500K conversation down to the call feature, because one of the things that you really pointed out, a lot of people are trying to figure out, they don't have a lot of work, right? If you're not in the community and you're not a part of our program and you don't have a sales process and you don't have an ad structure, the worst thing you can do is go boost an ad on Instagram. It's not going to do really anything because you don't have a process. You don't have a system. And one of the things that you pointed out to me specifically that I remember on several calls is that Instagram, maybe I'll let you explain this, but like Instagram, people that are on Instagram that are running ads, they're not really like necessarily looking for people in the service industry to like do things. Whereas with Google, they're actually typing in, home electrician or home renovation. And so that what is that call button called again?
Or
local service ads. Yeah, local service ads. So these things just can't. When did those come out? This year or was it last year?
It's been a couple of years, I think. Actually, they've been there. It's like 3-4 years, I think.
3-4 years. Okay, well, I'm out of the Google game. But so there's this local service ad. So you type in, blah blah blah, looking for XYZ, and then boom, you pop up, and it's visible, very visible. I don't know if we can show an example of what that looks like, but pops up super visible. Click the button, and it actually calls you and said, "Hey, incoming call from Google." Wild. The lead is now producing, and there are people that are searching for that product. I don't know what it would be like if you spend 500 grand. If you spend 500 grand on that, you might need a call center to deal with the leads coming in. But I'd love for you to talk a little bit more about that, because I think that's super valuable in the ads space. No, and maybe we can show an example of what it looks like. I don't know if we can share and show an example of what that looks like.
Oh, gotcha, Brandon. Let me, I'll kind of go through it first, and then maybe we can show it after. But essentially, the biggest thing I like to let my clients know is that, Google Ads Google Ads and Facebook and Meta Ads are 1A, 1B, right? But essentially, if you don't have the money to invest in both, I would say Google is the way to start. You know what I mean? Unless you're running like specific promotions and that sort of thing, then we can go on Facebook, right? But essentially, the difference is that they're completely two separate different audiences that you're reaching, right? With Meta, Instagram, Facebook, that sort of thing, the goal of the campaigns is to cast a wide net. Show people off your previous work, show people promotions, whatever it is. And the main benefit is like you have media there to show people, right? So you can show your previous jobs, you can show videos, content, that sort of thing, right? The campaigns, they're actually showing to a broad range of people. And the thing about them, and that's key, is that, they're not actively searching, right? So if I'm on Instagram, even if I was searching for renovations yesterday, right? And then Meta sees that, they put me in that like renovations category. When I'm on Instagram, Facebook, I'm not actively searching, right? So if I come across an ad that I like, I can get in contact. Maybe I'll reach out to them, but it's a little bit of a higher kind of gap to sell them in regards to, they're not actively looking for it. Maybe they were interested in renovations or interested in home improvement. They're not looking for a renovator right now. They saw your ad, so they might be, you know what I mean? That's one market. And it doesn't mean, I would say it's still an important market to reach, is that, you want to reach those individuals. You want to show them off your previous work. And the benefit is that you can show them images, and it's also going to be cheaper cost for you on Facebook, right? Because since they're not actively searching, it's lower intent. You'll pay less for each individual click and lead, basically. With that, the reason I like to focus on Google Ads side to start for a lot of our contractors is that the intent's there already. You know what I mean? Where people, they're going to, with Facebook and Instagram, they're going to appear there for you. You're going to find them, but people are going to see you and kind of click on. Again, with Google, they're actively searching, right? So like you said, with local service ads, say, for example, if I'm searching Home Additions Toronto, for example, right? Those local service ads are going to get you right to the top of the page. Even standard Google ads, they're going to put you right at the very top of the page. And one stat that's a little bit crazy too, Brandon, is that 50% of people don't even know the difference between a sponsored ad and a regular organic search result. So basically, like if you look, there's the sponsored results at the top, and then like everyone else at the bottom, like everyone who's doing SEO on the first page, whatever it is, people don't know the difference between them sometimes, especially like the older generation. You know what I mean? So with the Google ads, if someone's searching for home additions near me, but if you weren't running ads, you're going to be on the 4th or 5th or 6th page sometimes, whatever it is, even further, right? But the ads are going to be right at the top of the page. Your number is going to be right there. People can click on, and if you have an optimized website, they can get in contact right away and at a good rate. Yeah, so that's the biggest difference, is that Facebook, we're targeting audiences and we're reaching people that might be interested in renovations. Google, we're reaching people who are actively searching right now to get a renovation done. Because of that, Google ads, more expensive cost per click, more expensive cost per lead usually. Facebook's cheaper on that side. Qualified. Exactly, but they're more qualified.
Yeah. The other thing too, for those of you that are listening and you're like, I have no money for ads. That's not the time to spend on ads when you have no money. The time to spend money on ads is when you've exhausted all of the organic systems and you have a clear defined sales process, and you have the ability of lowering your cost per investment on the lead. Let's say that I don't know how much these these ads would cost. Let's say it's $5 per lead. So a lead comes through, it's $5, right? If you don't have a clear organic strategy first and foremost up front, then you're probably it's going to cost you more money to close that. So cost per client is going to go up. So you get the cost per message or cost per lead at $5, but your cost per client could be $500. That means that you've had to go through so many people until you've actually closed a deal. And that's because you don't have a process in place. So if you don't have a budget for an ad, that's okay. Don't try and just throw money at it. Throw money at optimizing your system. Get a coach in your business. Incorporate people that are going to help you get your shit together before you start spending money on ads. But when you do have all of that other stuff organized, now it's a matter of, okay, I've exhausted all organic tactics because they have a limit, right? You can only get so much visibility organically. Now it's time to pull the cash lever on the ads. And you want to test it. I like that you're talking about A/B testing. You want to test it. You don't want to go all in. You don't want to spend $500K. I hope in one world that I have the capital to spend $500K on ads. That would be a phenomenal day. But you don't want to spend it all. You want to spend something. So put $1,000 on it. Test it. Okay. Check the leads as they come through. It's not intended to replace organic. It's intended to amplify organic, right? And so what a lot of people fail to understand is they put all their hopes and dreams in ads, and they're like, give me, please, magical leads. And it's like, no, get magical leads the organic way first. Hustle, grind, pick up the phone, knock doors, put hangers out, signage, do all the things. When you have a clear, defined sales process, that's when you pull the lever. And the harder you pull the lever, the more leads you'll get, the more jobs you'll close, the more money your business will make at the end of the day. So everyone at some point should be and needs to be spending money on ads. I don't care what anybody says. We're not trying to go viral on social because those are a bunch of people that aren't your ideal clients. You're just getting all the noise. Now everybody's freaking confused. So that's something I just wanted to add to that. And, we're kind of getting to the end of this. So if there's a contractor out there that wants to connect with you, where can they find you?
Yeah, for sure, Brandon. So I would say number one would be the Elite Builders platform. You know what I mean? They can message me on there, and you got a great community on there already, right? In regards to like experts. So first and foremost, reach me on Elite Builders. You can message me directly there.
Well, Brandon, no, they can't, because if they're not a member yet, they can't message you. So what if they were? Do you have an Instagram profile or anything like that where people can drop you a quick DM?
So I would say, Brandon, like I don't really use my business one. I would use my website as the first and foremost. So I think you can see it right.
It's pinned up. It's pinned up right there. Yeah. So hit him up there if you want to connect with him to chat about ads and how to get your business the correct exposure that it needs. I really appreciate our conversation today. I think we had a lot of great insight. I was definitely taken back by the $500K. I did not expect that. So thank you for doing that to me. That was really exciting. I had this weird, but dude, this is my 7th episode. And I kind of had this weird, out of body experience when you said that, because I was completely caught off guard. I was like, he's going to say 5K. He's going to say 5K. Nope. 500K. And then I was in this whoa, what would it be like to spend 500K on ads? So I really appreciate you sharing that super cool horror story. And I'm excited for you to hear or share with me over the next couple of months about the results that you're getting for that client. So thank you so much for your time today. Again, appreciate all of you. Make sure to go give me a follow on @the_contractor coach. We are going to be creating an Instagram profile for this podcast. It's coming. Onsite is going to be something that's super near and dear to me. We get to speak with educators like Brendon here inside the community, and also great contractors that are all trying to level up. We're all just trying to grow our business, and we're here to support you. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you tune in next week where we'll have another great conversation about construction. Cheers. Thanks.
Thanks, Brandon. And Brandon, let me just say something as well. Thank you for having me on first and foremost, right? Is that great conversation. I appreciate you for that. And again, for anyone that wants to get in contact with me, reach out, give me a call, shoot me an email, whatever it is. It doesn't need to be about ads. It can just be about building your entire online presence. And I spoke to Brandon about this too, is that I want to make sure that, you have a good kind of strategy in place, and I can help you develop that. And hopefully in the future, we can work together if we need to from there. You know what I mean? So reach out if you have any questions, anything like that. And again, Brandon, I appreciate you for having me on, man.
Awesome, man. I appreciate that. Well, make sure to go give him a follow and connect with him. And we'll see you all in the next episode. Cheers. Thanks.